It is May 4th, 2019, and it is Big Brew Day for National Homebrew Day, and I'm going to take that title of Big Brew as literal as I can, and that is next. Big Brew Day 2019. So, I do not have the time to set up, brew, and clean and tear down my 5-gallon system, which I would love to do. I'd love to do a big batch on Big Brew Day, but I just do not have the time. Luckily, the busy weekend I have doesn't really start till early afternoon today, which is Saturday. This is May 4th that I'm recording this. So I have enough time to do a 1-gallon all-grain batch. So what I'm going to do is take that idea of big beer, the name, and make a beer big in body, hopefully taste, but should definitely be an alcohol. And that is a barley wine. And that's another one of those styles, like I said in the Old Ale episode, that I don't drink a lot of, mainly because of availability. When I see it, since it's so rare, I'll try it. In fact, I actually had one the same day I had that Old Ale, oddly enough. And I also had one more recently, just a few weeks ago in Pennsylvania. I think it was in Easton, Pennsylvania. It was outside Philadelphia. We went to a brewery that specializes in big beers. So they had barley wines, American Old Ales, strong ales. They had a lot of big beers, and they actually have a little speech and introduction when they hand you the menu of how big their beers are and to be careful. And they actually suggest the small flight pour sizes or a flight, which is, that's how big those beers are. But I liked it. I've never made one. I'm going to try now. So that's what this episode is going to be. And something a little different in this episode, I love to do grain to glass because I don't like splitting up the videos for tastings unless there's a reason. Like, again, everything's going back to the Old Ale this episode, but that had to do with yeast propagation. But I am going to split this video and just end at the brewing, and we're going to do a tasting later on because this is, the day I'm recording this is the Big Brew Day, and I'm going to post this on the Big Brew Day. I know it's a new channel, a lot of people, I don't have a lot of subscribers, and most of you watching this are watching this well past May 4th, but it gives me a more of a participant feeling in the event by posting it today. So it's a thing for me. I want to be part of the event. I want to do we have a toast, a simultaneous toast, I think it's called, at 1 p.m. Eastern today. I'm going to do all that stuff and then post this and then do the tasting later, which will be, if you are one of those few subscribers, it's going to be months from now because this is a beer that needs to age. But so little different episode, but I really want to participate in this, and to do that, I'm actually going to have to brew something, so let's get started. So for the grains, I had an unusual amount of time on my hands earlier this week, and I pre-bagged, let's see, my next 5, I think? It's hard to tell because I did double bags on these. I have like 7 bags altogether. I think it's for 5 beers. Number doesn't matter for this one, but I pre-bagged my grains for this, and then I realized, well, I can't weigh them out and show them what the grist is. So I'll read it off real quick. Here's what's in these 2 bags. I probably could have put it all in one bag, but this one started to look pretty darn full. But in these 2 bags, we've got 2.5 pounds of Brewer's 2-row malt, 1 pound and 4.8 ounces of Munich malt, 10 ounces of rye, 2 ounces of Crystal 60L, 0.5 ounce or half ounce of 120L Crystal L. And then, as maybe you've seen that, we'll need 4.8 ounces of dark brown sugar at 10 minutes, which I've also weighed out. So that's not a grain, but it is a fermentable, but we won't be seeing that again until the boil. We've got a little bit of water talk in this one, and first is that my reagents, the expired chemicals from my water kit, the ones that I ordered and came in expired, were replaced by the manufacturer directly. So I did a water test. I know what my parts per million count is on all the brewing aspects now. So this is my tap water treated with a little bit of a Candom tablet to get rid of the chloride and chloramine and things that make it smell and taste like a pool. And it usually works like basically instantly, but it'll definitely be, it'll clear all those out by the time I'm done recording. So that's good. That's good. No more running to the store and getting those gallon jugs. So the other thing is I need like 3 gallons in 1 cup, whatever that comes out. I think it actually comes out to 3.06 gallons of water. And this is a 3-gallon pot technically, although I don't think this can actually hold 3-gallon, a volume of 3 gallons. If it did, it'd be like right up to the lips. So I split it in 2. This is 2.5 gallons. And this is the rest, about 3/4 of a gallon. This pot I'm going to bring up to strike temperature, which calculated is about 159, I think. I'll double check before I start. And I will mash with this water. I'll bring this up to 170 or close to it, and I'm going to do a mini sparge, a mini kind of fly sparge with a measuring cup. Nothing too sophisticated. I figured since I need the 2 vessels to heat up the water, I might as well do it. And with a big wine like a barley wine, rinsing those sugars with the 170-degree water, loosening up that little bit that's left, probably won't hurt for a big beer. So that's the plan. And now I'm pretty sure I don't smell a bit of chlorine hanging over with these pots, so I'm going to turn on the burners and get started. We're at temperature and then some, because this went really fast, because another advantage of using my tap water is I turned it on full heat, so it started at about 115 or so it didn't take as long, which I did not consider, so that makes me happy. So I'm going to very slowly put in this water, because it's a couple degrees hot, but we want actually a full body out of this. There's I don't know why I'm showing this, just to show something different on camera. We want a really full body out of this, so mashing a little high, that actually works in that favor. So after all that, we're actually oddly a little low. That is mash temperature. I was aiming for 153. I figured we'd probably get at 154 with that extra heat, but it's only 151. And at first, I was kind of like, oh no. And then I remembered this is Big Brew Day for National Homebrew Day. And the motto, I believe, first said by Charlie Parpazian. If I mess this up, apologies. For the motto for homebrewing in the American Homebrew Association is, don't worry, relax, have a homebrew. So, okay, 2 degrees. I'm also going to be sparging with 170-degree water, which I usually don't do. So it's not that big a deal. Well, while we wait for the mash, we will go through the boil additions, specifically the hops. Well, we use a couple other things to talk about too. And this is where I usually weigh them out, but I don't need to, because on that same day where I prepped everything, I also prepped the hops. But I did write on which each one is, and they're color-coded. This is hot pink for barley wine. Get it? So, 0.15 ounce of Eldorado at 60 minutes. Then we've got 0.2 ounces of Citra at 15 minutes. And then we've got 0.15 ounce of Citra at flame out. And then, of course, we've got our dark brown sugar at 10 minutes, Warflock tablet just before that at 15 minutes. And that's the boil additions. And I did want to note, I bought these bags on Amazon. I think it was like 100 of them. Very inexpensive and just the right size for these 1 gallon additions. And I figured between getting 100 of those bags and buying, I think this is my second since homebrewing, but third overall, this little jeweler's scale, aka meth scale, I've got to be on some kind of watch list at this point. Kind of got to go up high this time to show I got all my boil additions ready. And most importantly, I have a glass, but not a beer. I'm about to get it. In about 14 minutes, it is the simultaneous toast for Big Brew Day. And I've got a time bot, the German pills I made during this series, ready to go. So it's saying about 10-ish minutes. I'm going to go get it, pop it open, pour it. I'm going to try to go live on Instagram with it. Never gone live on Instagram, so I might screw that up and no one will see it. But that is my plan for my toast. And that's the boil additions, which I showed you. I don't know why I went back and showed you again. All right, let's try this. It is National Homebrew Day. It is Big Brew Day. Can you see that? I've got a barley wine going and a simultaneous toast is seconds away. Here we go. Got one of my past ones called Time Bots, German pills. So it's just about 1 o'clock, so salute, cheers, skull, get one in you, whatever you want to say. Happy Homebrew Day. Hope everyone's having a good day on the Big Brew. And here's to many more. I don't know what that guy yelled, I don't know if you heard that. As luck would have it, just as the toast came and went, we are at a boil, just about rolling. I'm going to give it my usual 30-ish seconds to see how much of that hot break rolls back in. I probably should have scooped it off. I'm back to scooping it off again. I haven't done that for a while. Haven't noticed the difference, but it's kind of become the new habit. But I don't have everything to do that, so it's not going to happen this time. So I'm going to keep an eye on this, make sure we don't boil over, and then start the timer for 90 minutes. But we won't actually start adding additions until we get to that 1 hour mark. We're seconds away from the 1 hour mark, and we're going to do our first hop edition, which is the Eldorado Hop, which is a hop I instantly fell in love with the first time I made a smash meal out of it. So we are ready now. In they go. Except for this one stubborn pellet. There it goes. Okay. So we now officially have wort. I think this bird wants to participate in Big Brew Day because he keeps jumping on the fence and then jumping back down and staring at the brew kettle. I'm kind of regretting not using hop sacks in this beer, looking at how much hop matter is kind of clumping up here. But I knew that was going to happen, and I'm short in a sense on hop sacks. I need them tomorrow. I'm doing an IPA tomorrow for another video that actually is not about the beer, but I'm definitely going to need them for a 1 gallon IPA, which has way more hops than this one, so I figured we'd be okay. But it looks like pouring this in the fermenter is going to be a little bit of a challenge, but again, sort of kind of expected it. Hope for the best, but plan for the worst. This is going to be interesting. I want to get this shot, but I don't want to dump this in as one clump because I don't want it to hit the bottom and scorch. So I'm going to try to, as you can see, I'm flicking it in, and man, ooh, holding my hand over that pot. That gets hot quick. Let's see if I can just get a little more. Yep, that gets hot. Oddly enough, it's not making this clump up like I thought it would. So just a couple more flicks, and then I'll dump the rest. Okay, that's dumpable, I think. There we go. Brown sugar has been added. I've got 2.5 minutes to go in the boil, and it's looking like that is just enough time. Might even cut it short a few seconds to avoid what is on the horizon. Okay, we made it. We beat the storm. So here we are at the 0 mark, putting in the last bit of hops, which is all Citra. And we're going to kill the flame. Alright, gas is off, and we're going to cover it up just so I don't burn myself on the way in. Take it in and cool it down. And there it is, the first barley wine. It didn't quite get a full gallon, but not as far off as I thought. Now comparing it to the other ones that it's sharing the fermentation chamber with, it's going to share the chamber with that one very briefly. That is the pale ale I remade for the competition that I'm going to taste against the one I already made and see which one I'm going to send in. I'm actually going to cold crash that in about 15 minutes. So that'll move over there. And back there, if you're curious, is the second version of the wit for the competition, which I will also taste. But for today, there is the barley wine, and I should get a good 6 bottles out of it for sure, but won't get to tasting it for quite a while. So, of course, the one thing I wanted to do before finishing up the day was take a gravity reading, and our target was 1.094. I hope we can get this on camera. I think you can see it. Let's see if I can focus it. There we go. There you go. Look at that. I'd say it's 0.10935. It's so close to 9.4. I did not expect that, but there we go. We should have a big beer when all's said and done. That is it for Big Brew 2019. I'm glad I got to be a part of it. I think I have just enough time to edit this and get it online before I have to actually start the rest of my day, which is good. That storm, I don't know if it's coming across on mic. I should have took a shot of it. It's not as bad now, but that storm did roll through, like not far after the end of that boil, or long after, I should say. So we avoided that. Getting that wort in the fermenter, that was challenging. I didn't get a video of it because I had my hands full and was trying to get done. It was incredibly, I don't know what the word I'm looking for. I was going to say viscous, but that's not it. There's a lot of material in that wort, not just hop material. And I'm not sure what was all in there, if it was just because of the big grain bill. I think it's a combination of a few things. I think, well, it's obviously the hops because I dumped them straight in. Next time I use a hop bag because that'll help. But it's not going to eliminate it because there still was a lot of matter in there. And I think it was the fact that I used a decent amount of rye for a 1 gallon batch and the fact that the grain bill is so big. So lesson learned on that one. Definitely do what I can to eliminate a lot of that trub, basically. And at least the one thing I can do is use the hop bag, so I'll use that next time. But other than that, I have plenty for at least a 6-pack. I may do 3 bombers, 322 ounces instead. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking, I'll see how everything settles out. If it starts to look good and the fermentation takes off and seems to be healthy, and then I'll do the 6 bottles so I can kind of spread it out over time like the old ale. But yeah, that's it. We'll find that out in a few months, because I will not be cracking open one of those bottles for a very long time. So that's it for Big Brew Day 2019. Happy National Brew Day to everybody. Hope you enjoyed at least some of that. If you are interested in what this exactly is, there's a lot more on this day and what is behind it at the American Homebrewers Association website. So if you're not already familiar with that, check that out. I'm a member. That's why I'm participating in this. And yeah, that's it. I'll say again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.